finishing up with week 2. Week 1, we're finishing up with week 1. We're coming into week 2. I'm not skipping a week. Let's jump on the scales and see how you ladies did last week.
Good morning, Carmen. This is Sarah, week 2, 293.6.
Jenna, 163.2.
Janine, 206.4.
So this is our first week where we will have standings. Every week moving forward, we'll have our standings. And just so you guys know, the way they work is it's not based on the number of pounds. It's based on the percentage that you've lost. So if someone weighs 100 pounds and they lose 10 pounds, that would be 10%. They lost 10% of their body fat. If someone weighs 200 pounds and they lost 10 pounds, it would be 5%. Does that make sense? So you'll hear your name, you'll hear the amount of weight you lost, and then you will hear the percentage that you've lost. And here's the cool thing, like as you continue on in the program, that percentage is going to grow. And imagine when it gets to, you've lost 10%, you've lost 15%, you've lost 20%, you've lost 30%. We've had people that have lost 50%. We've had people that have lost 70%. 70%. Kristen from season 4, who started off at like over 300 pounds and ended at 140 pounds. Like absolutely freaking crazy. And so anyway, my point is that number is going to grow as you continue with the program. So right now it might seem microscopic, but it's going to grow. Let's jump into our standings. In 7th place, down 0.04% is Neela. In 6th place, down 0.12% is Jenna. In 5th place, down 0.18% is Jean. In 4th place, down 2.2 pounds, 0.98%, Amy. In 3rd place, down 3.4 pounds, 1.41%, Natasha. In 2nd place, down 5.1 pounds, 1.7%, Sarah. Which means in 1st place, shut your mouth, Janine, shut your mouth. In 1st place, down 4 pounds, 1.9%, Janine. Awesome, awesome job. New decades this week. Janine is in the single 200s at actually 206 pounds. So 6.2 pounds away from Wonderland, beautiful. And Natasha got into the 230s. Awesome job. Like so incredible. And so every time you hit a new decade, we're going to celebrate that. And listen to me. This changes every week. And if we don't like this, we've got to change what we're putting in this. So tonight we are going to be talking about something that I really feel like is a crucial point, a crucial part to all of your weight loss journeys. Really, it's a crucial part for you getting to the finish line. And when I ever look at people who are struggling to get to the finish line, or people who are struggling inside of the journey, and by the way, like this is not just in weight loss. Like I coach businessmen and women all the time. We do business conferences where we help people get transformations inside of their businesses. And so, like that we help them get results, right? And so this same thing will keep somebody from having a good business. This will, if somebody that doesn't have this will go out of business. Majority of businesses go out of business, and it's because they don't have this that we're going to talk about tonight. Majority of people do not succeed in their weight loss endeavors because they don't have this. This is the foundation that I believe every person has to have to succeed inside of life. And not only is it biblical, but it's foundational. And so we're going to be talking about your vision. We're going to be talking about your vision for where you're going. And in the Bible, it says a man without a vision will perish. Now, I know a lot of us have heard that term, and even if you don't believe in the Bible, let's just take a look at the words. A man without a vision will perish. Well, I don't know if you know what perish means, but it means it means die. It means no longer here. Like, and so like that's a pretty bold statement. A man or woman without a vision will die. Is the translation. Okay. So let's talk about that with your weight loss. Okay, let's talk about that with your health journey. So most of the time when you ask people, okay, so what's your vision? The biggest to lose weight, to have smaller clothes, to be healthy, to feel good. And nothing becomes dynamic until it becomes specific. Like so specific that you could describe where you wanted to be in 1 year, and someone could draw or paint a picture of what you were going to look like. Like that's how specific I mean. And so a vision is your vision of where you want to be. It's your vision of where you want your health to be. It's your vision of where you want your marriage to be. It's your vision of what you want your wardrobe to be. It's your vision of what you want your date nights to look like or your future sex life to look like. It's your vision of what kind of mother you are with your kids. What kind of activities do you do? Are you a mom in the game? And so often people don't put a lot of attention on the vision. And I'll hear a lot of people say, Carmen, I prayed for a vision, or I'm waiting on the Lord to give a vision. And that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Like forever, I had an entrepreneurial spirit from the time I was a teenager. And I really felt like there was this calling on my life and I didn't know what it was. And I would have people speak over my life and speak all these things. And I would just be like, okay, like, but how? Like, how does that happen? How many of you have ever had like this end point of where you want to be, but you have where you're at and you don't know the how to get there? Like, here's where I feel like I want to be. Here's where I feel like I'm at, but where's the bridge? Where's the bridge that takes me from where I'm at to where I want to be? And so what I'm going to tell you is your vision is that bridge. Without a vision, this is where we give, or with a weaker vision, this is where we quit at the sign of any turmoil. This is where when they say the going gets tough, the tough get going. When the going gets tough, this is where most people don't get going. This is because they're not tough without a vision. A vision is the strength. It gives you the strength you need to push through the crap. A vision is the reason why we are willing to push through the crap, to fight through the crap, to fight through the hard, to get the testimonial. And when your vision is strong enough, there is nothing, I mean nothing on this planet that can stop you. There is nothing. But without a vision, every little thing will stop us. I mean, some crappy chicken will stop us. Some 2-day-old brownie will stop us. Some work picnic will stop us. There's all kinds of things that'll stop us without a vision. Now, the thing you have going for you right now is your 1 week in. Most of you can still remember making your why video. Most of you are still so excited to be in the program. You're like, I'm not messing this up. But at some point, the excitement always fades. It always fades. I mean, how many of us are married? Is that everybody? Everybody's married? Okay, I don't have to ask you if you're as excited about your spouse as you were on your first date, or your third date, or your fifth date, right? So the excitement's worn off. And then we have to choose to love that sucker, even when he leaves his socks on the floor again. Right? We have to choose to love him through his crap. And there's days where I don't like you, but I love you, but I don't like you right now. Right? Like that's a part of any marriage. And so when your vision is strong enough, there's nothing that's going to stop you. There's nothing that's going to stop you. And it's the one thing that most people never cultivate is their vision of who they want to be. And literally right now, this week, it's about designing. If failure wasn't an option and you could create any health that you wanted, what would it look like? What would it look like? What would your butt look like? What kind of date nights would you have? What kind of clothes? Where would you shop? What would you do on date nights? It's like literally looking at every area of your life and creating a vision for your health. What would happen when you went to your next doctor's appointments? What would popping out that baby look like? What would the recovery look like? What would you be wearing this time next year on New Year's Eve when you're at your goal, right? So it's literally putting a picture to what their future looks like. So a vision is like giving us a picture of what we're fighting for. It's attaching meaning and a why to the work. Because without attaching a why and meaning to the work, it's just work. And none of us naturally like to just work. When it comes to your vision, if you were writing, if we were in your book of life and we were writing a book, we were in Amy's book, and we've read all up until now, and now we're about to read the next chapter. What would the next chapter say about her next 12 weeks? The 24 weeks inside of this program. The next 6 months. What would it say about the next year and the year after that? Like if we were literally writing a book, what would your next chapter say? And it's being as specific as possible. And this is how, by the way, all visions, everybody's vision starts off really tiny, really tiny. And typically with weight loss, it starts off something like, I want to get healthy. I want to have a healthy pregnancy. I want to be a good example for my daughter. I want to feel good and I want to be confident. I want to have more energy. I want to fit back in my clothes. I want to live longer. Like they all start off with something simple. But that is not going to be enough to get you across the finish line. It would be amazing if our kids were a big enough reason to get us to where we need to go, but they're not. They're not. Our kids can inspire us to get started, but we have to have something to sustain us and to push us past the obstacles when they come. And they'll always come. It's not if, it's when. And so this week, you guys are going to be designing and really starting to design, because it takes longer than a week to design your vision of what does it look like? What does it look like? And here's what you've got to be convinced of inside of your own brain, that this isn't what you're hoping for. It's not what you're dreaming for. This is your future. It's not a matter of if it will happen. It is when. When I get to this size, when I can fit into these clothes, when I can walk into Victoria's Secret and shop at that overpriced store and pay $20 for a piece of dental floss that goes up my butt, when I can ride roller coasters, when I don't have to worry about the weight limit to ride horses, when I am rolling around on the ground playing with my kids, when I'm strutting around my bedroom naked and I don't care if the lights are on full blast, when this is my life, here's how it's going to feel. When I go bathing suit shopping next year, when I go on vacation, when I turn 50. So it's not talking about some abstract thing that might happen. Does that make sense? Because if you don't own the person you're becoming, you will not become her. You've got to own it. You've got to walk, talk, and act as if this is my future, this is my destination, this is where I'm going, and it'll take an army with a bunch of swords to stop me. Here's where I'm going. Period. End of story. And you've got to be that certain about where you're going. And what happens is when you start being specific, you're writing the next chapter. You can start to see it. You can start to imagine it. You can start to feel it. And when that happens, there's feelings that get attached. And now you can start to believe it. See, you can't believe it if it's not specific. You can't believe it if you can't see it. So it's creating this movie in your head of what this is going to look like, what it's going to feel like when you're doing XYZ, when you're living XYZ, when you're walking through Italy and your cute little backless free people dress and your gladiator sandals, and you're eating gelato, taking a cute picture to put on Instagram, right? And hey, maybe that's not your goal. That's okay. I'm sharing some of mine. And don't judge me for my goals. I won't judge you for yours. It's all of us have different goals, and it's not about the goal. And listen, don't judge yourself if your goal is vain. Your goal doesn't have to be noble. It just has to motivate you. I was talking to Nisha from one of the previous seasons. She's amazing, by the way. And she goes, Carmen, one of my things is, she goes, I have to plan a trip every couple months. Me knowing I'm going somewhere motivates me. So every 3 months, I plan a trip. She's like, I'll see you at your next seminar. She's like, I want to look good when I get there. Great. So that's what motivates her. That's the bait on her hook. Just like if we go fishing, if Neela loves lasagna, I can't put lasagna on the end of the fish hook, because if Neela loves lasagna, doesn't mean the fish loves lasagna. You put on the end of the fish hook what the fish likes. So all of us like something different. So we're going to have different goals, different vision boards, because that's the bait on the end of our hook. One of my goals was to look good in a bathing suit. Is that a vain goal? Yes. But whatever motivates, motivates. Don't judge your goal. If it's going to get your butt off the couch, that's all that matters. One of the things that totally motivated me to succeed in business was having a nice house and a nice car. I was greedy. I was a greedy sucker. I wasn't motivated by giving. I did not grow up in a household that went to church. And when I first heard about tithing, I was like, wait, I got to give 10% to who? And then, see, giving 10% was really easy when I was making no money. I made $100, give $10. You start making a lot of money and those checks have more zeros, you're like, it says to be a cheerful giver. I'm just going to start with being a giver. Here, take it. I eventually became a cheerful giver. I didn't start there, right? And so what motivates, motivates. And so it's being honest too with what's the bait on the end of your hook. And looking good, newsflash, it doesn't make you a bad person to want to look good. It doesn't make you a bad person to want to be able to shop at certain stores or to look good naked. Or you're like, Herman, I don't really care about looking good naked. Like my husband's the only one who sees me naked. If that's not your, that's great. But it's you being honest and getting to know what motivates you. And answering that question, that if failure wasn't an option, what would your future look like when it comes to your health? All right.
Okay, so failure wasn't an option. I've got a short-term vision and a long-term vision, and the short-term vision is to have the energy to go hiking and exploring. Me and my husband, we love to travel. I really want to go and hike the Grand Canyon. That is a huge goal of mine, as well as like Yosemite and all the things out west. And I don't have the energy to do that right now. So that is my vision, to be able to do all those things. We love traveling. We love road trips. We love just going and finding new hiking spots and things like that. So that is my short-term vision, to be able to do those things without getting out of breath, without being sore, without giving up because it's too hard. And then my long-term vision is to be a 90-year-old who is still driving, who is still mentally and physically healthy, who can still go hiking, who can still do all the things that we need to do to function. I don't want to be the 90-year-old in a hospital bed. I want to be the 90-year-old who is still out doing things until I finally croak over. And when that time comes, but I want to be able to live each day until that moment healthy and able to do all the things that I need to do. Healthy, no medication. I'm not on meds and I don't plan to be. And that is a big vision for me, never to be on medication. So I think that's it for me.
So my answer is, I think in the short term, to no longer test pre-diabetic, to be comfortable wearing a swimsuit. I want to be able to hop back up from being down on the floor, because it ain't a pretty sight right now. I think it's more quality than quantity. My mom lived to 71, and the last years she had were not very quality years. So I want to have quality up into the very end. I think I mentioned this last week, no seatbelt extender on the plane. And not being wiped out by the end of my tours when I'm doing tours for my ball team. So, yeah, I just have more energy, more vitality, and more specifically be between 165, 168 pounds because I'm 5'10". So that's kind of the healthy goal for me.
Yes, my answer is I want to be free from hormone imbalance because I have PCOS problem too. And also I wanted to be healthy after my pregnancy. I'm actually like next week gonna be my 7 months, which is 28 weeks pregnant. Yeah. And one more thing I would like to add is because right now it's like I'm fighting with my cravings. I don't wanna go like over, and I don't wanna like stay too low too, because it's like it is hard for me because it's my first pregnancy, and that was the reason why I wanted to be on this program, because some people like gain much weight on the like when they are pregnant, but so far I gained 10 pounds because I was 210 before, but right now I'm like 221. And also my vision is to stay away from diabetes because my dad is diabetic, and also most of my family like they are like diabetic, and I would like to be more confident on my body too. Yeah, I'm also 5'10", and yes, that is my answer.
Okay. I mean, I think I said last week, I really, really, you know, want to do this for my children, mainly the little girl that I have in my belly right now. Mostly because of what I went through as well, just growing up. But a few more shallow things, to be completely honest. Like this last weekend, I had such great pictures from this pumpkin patch. And every time I have like really pretty pictures, I post everyone's but my own because I don't know. I don't, I think that people are going to think something, even though my level of self-importance is like down here. And I don't think people even take a second look or really think about how I look. But in my head, it's so big. And I just want it not to be big in my own head. Like, just be so proud of how I look that I just like post it and just feel good about it. Even though, again, people are probably going to look at it the same amount of time or think the same kind of thoughts because nobody's thinking about us the amount that we think they are. But in my own head, I just want to feel good. Um, Other things, this is so random, but I never learned how to ski or ice skate growing up, and we lived in Colorado for 2 years, my husband and I, and he's like a really good skier. And I learned how to ski at 30, and I remember all the falls and how embarrassed I was, and just like my center of gravity was all messed up. And I want to learn how to ice skate and just like feel good about it. And then I would get in my own head again and I learned how to paddleboard too here on Lake Michigan. And even that, it was like such a struggle. And my husband just like learned it like that because he's super athletic. And I don't know if it's like just a pride thing, but I just want to like learn how to do the next thing and like just show him and like myself that like, hey, I actually am naturally athletic. I'm overweight. So it's hard for me to learn things. So like I just want to learn how to ice skate, and because I think my son is super athletic too. So I want to like do that with him. And who knows with my daughter, maybe she'll play hockey. I don't know. Maybe I'll want to do that with her too. And then I don't know, stupid little things like wearing belts. Like I always want to wear a belt, but I just like every time I buy like a cute belt, and I'm like, oh, I have like, I think to myself that I have kind of a good eye for clothing. So I'll buy like cute outfits. Sometimes with a belt, they look awful on me. So I want to wear a belt. I want to have like a snatched waist. I mean, I have so many things, so I won't keep going, but yeah, and I have a lot of international family, and I want to visit my country again, and I want to visit all the other countries that my family lives in and not have my family comment about my weight, which they always have. It's just like a cultural thing. Every aunt's like, oh, like you've gotten so fat, and like I just don't want to hear those comments. Like I want to go on a trip and just have them be like, damn, you look awesome. And yeah, so I have a lot more, but I'll stop. I'll write it down for my next chapter.
Um, my vision. So I've been starting to actually try to envision things. And so next year is my husband and I's 20 and 30. So we'll be 20 years married and 30 years together. And I wanted to wear a fitted wedding dress to renew our vows. I don't know where it's going to be or anything like that. So, and then like have a two-piece swimsuit. And then also, once you have this child, I really want to be 172. Like, I want to be that person that, like, she lost all her weight before she had the baby. That's me. And so I want this picture where I have the 6-pack and 7 kids, and they're like, that can't be her. And it's like, it's me, and that's all mine, So I want to be able to get on the kids train at Cedar Point, be able to sit with them and like, you getting on here, like I'm getting on there, right there next to them, you know what I mean? And not just have to sit them and buckle them and then they like, oh, so I'm gonna be on the kids train. And then one of my visions of myself is like a pea coat that ties at the waist, like all the way. You tie it 3 times because it's so long. And then like with a skirt and like the boots that come to your calf that fit and they zip up and there's no issues. I think y'all know what I'm talking about. And a little hat and like a mug, even if it's just hot cocoa or something, but and like just super cute. That's it's just a vision. And then I think I put this in the Marco, like I want to be able to see the hump on my arm, like boom, like without anything at the bottom. So, and then the 2-piece fitness outfit, like just the bra and the shorts, and you'll be able to work out and nothing's like doing things that you don't want it to do. So yes.
Okay, my short-term vision is definitely the traditional. I'm over 22 weeks pregnant with my 6th baby, and I just want less swelling and pain. And I know that that's typically a normal thing that comes with pregnancy. And I just don't want it to be normal for this one. I never was this size ever. So I'm able to envision what I could look like. And it's kind of painful I mean, you can either not know if you can get to a certain point because you've never seen it, but I've gone from really tiny and having babies to, the size that I am. And without, giving myself like shame and staying there, this time my vision is it's going to be a shorter labor. It's going to be a more natural, like less interventions. And so that's like, kind of short term. Long term, I want to be a mom that's strong. I want to have strong arms. I want to be able to stand in the kitchen for a really long time and cook, made from scratch meals and garden for a long time and not be tired, at the middle to end of the day. I want to go sailing and snorkeling again with my husband, like we did on our honeymoon in Jamaica. And I had a tiny body then. And now I'm in a body that I just don't really even recognize myself anymore. So I'm excited to, think about what I want to be, where I want to be. And yeah, I want to be standing in the kitchen barefoot, holding the baby on my hip and wearing a long, pretty dress, that I just threw on that morning. Like it wasn't, there was no issues with undergarments or what was sticking out or not sticking out, that kind of thing. So that's a start.
That was beautiful. I love I want to be in the dress I just threw on with no undergarments and nothing sticking out where it shouldn't be. That's a real thing, right? Like, yes. And so, those were amazing. And I'm so proud of you guys for having the courage to being able to start, which is just verbalizing it. That's the start, right? To verbalize it, to allow your brain to go there, because so often we stop dreaming and we start settling. And not this time. Not you, and not this time. And so as we continue on with the program and you guys continue to work on this vision, and it goes from that little flame that's burning and it gets brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter to where you can literally see it. You can literally see it in front of you. And then you can become it.